We're just a couple of days away from the start of MPL Philippines Season 8. We've seen some of the teams in action already in other tournaments before the season started. Some of them we haven't heard much of, so these power rankings are going to be tough. So for this time around, we decided to change things up a bit, and we're going to be putting a different metric para sa power rankings namin. Hindi lang yung traditional na 1 to 8. You're gonna be seeing in just a bit what we changed things up with for our power rankings. Let's bring in TDZ and Naisu. They'll be joining me here to talk about the teams going into MPL Philippines Season 8, who's doing well, who's doing not well, and who's hot and cold right now. So we're gonna start things off with TDZ's power rankings. All of us, without a doubt, we've been watching a lot of off-season tournaments. So this is, and trying to follow the team list. Every time it's preseason, mahirap gumawa ng mga power rankings na ganito. So hot and cold na lang gagawin namin. Sino yung teams na going into Season 8 are looking hot and who is looking cold? TDZ, the floor is yours. Na-silence ka ni Hellcurt, pare.
Ayan.
Yun, okay.
Alright. So, para sa akin, ang top 4 ko na mainit na teams this MPL Season 8. First, Blacklist, Bren, Omega, and NXPE. Tapos sa cold naman, it's going to be Onyx, Echo, RSG, and TNC. Siguro isang mabilis na run-through na lang ang gagawin ko. Blacklist International, again, the Season 7 defending champion. So, meron silang gustong patunayan. Bren Esports, syempre, tingin ko yung sa current lineup ng Bren Esports ngayon is mag-work really well. And tingin ko this is the Bren Esports na gusto talagang bumawi. Nagsasabihin talaga na sila pa rin talaga malakas. Omega Esports, sobrang surprising ng pagka-acquire ng Omega Esports from Execration, the previous Execration. And with a better organization, tingin ko, with the play as well, kung gaano kainit yung mga teams, again, from the MSC champions, Omega Esports will perform really well. And next play, EVOS. Bukod dun na si Midnight yung ng analyst, yung mga plays ni Sanford, si Hesa, I think next play EVOS will really do well if they can execute the plans, yung play style na prepare sa kanila, and also I think NXP will really surprise us this season. Onyx Philippines is Echo, RSG-PH, and TNC Pro Team. I guess pag-iisahin ko na lang para it doesn't take too much time. Lahat surprising, lahat sobrang interesting actually, honestly. Pero tingin ko, ito lang yung apat talaga na teams na nakikita ko na mainit. So, this is my own opinion. Onyx Philippines, Echo, RSG-PH, TNC Pro Team, tingin ko magiging malaking surprise kapag uminit na yung mga malalamig. Alam mo yun, pwede mo siyang gawing advantage na tipong, okay, hindi pala minamata, pero pag naglaro na kami, so tingin ko, ito yung part na kung bakit sila cold. Not in a negative way.
Alright. I'm seeing, because I have my own list later on, and meron na tayo mga ibang choices there. But then of course, again, just so that you guys know, limited din kami in terms of what we know, because all of us have different sources of information. We don't always get to talk about who's hot or cold right now. Parang it's a mix of ito rin yung naririnig namin eh. So maybe TDZ is hearing something a little bit different. So let's go with Naisu this time around. Who are your picks for hot and cold for our preseason heat check?
So my picks were for hot. I believe I had Blacklist up there. Blacklist, RSG, Omega, and TNC. So I put those from my hot list. And for my cold list, I had Bren, Echo, Onyx, and NXP. And let me explain. So the reason why that I have these, pretty much on the hot side, I put Blacklist there. You know, they are pretty much the champions from the last MPL, right? I think they have a really solid team, and so I put them there. There's going to be a lot of eyes on them. Now, Omega as well, great club of players, basically, and I think they have, you know, their eyes on them here, and now that they're Omega. Now, for RSG and TNC, RSG and TNC, they're two teams that, when I say they're hot, it's because there's a lot of mystery behind them on how they're going to perform, and there's a lot of eyes on these two teams, RSG and TNC. So even for me personally, for these two, like, I want to see how they perform. I mean, a lot lies on probably this first weekend, really. So for me right now, these guys are hot. Like, I want to see them perform. I want to see how their players do. I want to see how they unfold. And it's exciting. It's exciting to me because you have pretty much two of these new teams, right? And then over here on the cold side, we have Bren, Echo, Onyx, Next Play. The reason why I have Bren over there too, yes, I know, you know, they won M2, right? So yeah, they're champions in themselves. But the reason why I put them on cold is because Bren is a organization, especially that's like, it's established. It's a well-known team and org, and sometimes I like to think that sometimes people can get complacent. I'm not talking about everybody on the team, but there are some times when people get to the point where they're comfortable. They could be complacent. I'm not saying this is the case. I haven't had a chance to talk to the players, but this is something that could happen, and that's why I'm putting them on the cold side, because they have these accolades and these achievements, and sometimes they might not be working as hard as the other guys, right? So that's why I put them on the cold side. I still think they're going to perform, but for right now, they're on my cold side. Echo as well. We just don't know too much about Echo, Onyx, Next Play. Like, what's going to happen? I mean, shout out to Midnight. I know he's with Next Play, you know, but I put them over there because you know, NXP is just one of those teams that you don't really know what they're going to do. I mean, they have talent, they have personality, but how are they going to, you know, how is it going to be when it comes to the actual matches on the Land of Dawn? You know what I mean? So that's pretty much why I have those. Just sums it up for pretty much everybody over there. So, yeah.
All right. Good takes. From my heat check, and we'll do the comparisons after I share my list, so we can have a full idea of what we all think. So for my hot list, I put there Blacklist International. Do I still have my list up? Yeah. Blacklist International. I believe I also put there TNC, Omega, and call me indecisive, but I put Onyx and NXP together as additions for the hot list. I'll explain later. For my cold list, I put there Bren, Echo, and RSG. So I'll start first with Onyx and NXP, because I'm sure people are wondering, wait, what? 2? Was that even allowed? Yes, it was, technically. But the thing is, I've just been hearing so many good things. And although we haven't seen a lot of them in the offseason, or we haven't seen them at all, we've just been hearing, the things we've been hearing are good. The fact that they have someone like Miko who could potentially be the next up-and-coming rising roaming tank star in someone similar to Chaknu, that's crazy. That you would most likely, he's looking like he's gonna end up in the main 5. With Hatred going into the gold lane, you're gonna be having the present, no longer the future, the present Kyrie in the jungle. You bring back Baloyski. Him and Dilarsky are hungry to win together. And I don't know, man, I just bought into the Onyx hype, because shout out to the social media team of Onyx. They're doing a really good job as well at that. And reading through the comments, seeing what everyone is saying about this team, there are other people as well who are sold on the fact that even though we haven't seen Onyx, they're going to be a team to watch out for already for Season 8. Same thing for Next Play EVOS. They're hiding a lot of things. Midnight clued me in that there's so many things that they're gonna show this season, or they might show this season. Of course, at that time they were still experimenting, but this might be one of the most surprising versions of Next Play we've ever seen in terms of their diversity in picks. Now that they have a really strong veteran presence, a former champion in Hayes, are reunited with Doggy. They've already won a championship together in the past, so the relationship, the closeness is there. We've been hearing great things about Sanford. Hessa people as well are praising him. I feel like this is gonna be a breakout season for my favorite player in NXP EVOS, which is James. So that's why they're there right now in my hot list. And of course, come on, the big three. TNC Pro Team champions already in off-season, in preseason tournament. Blacklist International had a good run, a respectable run in the Nemo tournament. And then Omega as well. I believe they were the second runner-ups in the same tournament as TNC. So, and the fact that they got to flex their subs, and it wasn't until the playoffs where they started bringing in their main five, it shows a lot of potential of diversity for Omega Esports. For Bren Esports, I'm one of the people who put a really high standard for Bren because it's Bren. And I know Bren Esports put a high standard for themselves that we can be so much better than this. Their performance in Nemo, I'm sure they were disappointed. I was really hoping Bren Esports would go on a deep run there along with Blacklist International. Maybe we could have seen them in the finals for the tournament in Nemo, but we didn't. They were knocked off quickly in the playoffs in the lower bracket. So, yeah, right now, Bren is cold, but I think Leo said it best, that the fact that this happened really early to Bren in the offseason potentially means they had a lot of time to just work out the kinks already, and then come season 8, it might be the same scary Bren Esports that we were used to back in season 6, back in the World Championship. So I'm looking forward for Bren's resurgence there. Speaking of resurgence, again, it goes in line with my thinking of there's such a wild card. It could either go really, really well for them or really, really bad. The fact that I can't see them in an in-between, they're cold for me. But Demon Kite will definitely have to step up and live up to the potential that he has. And again, for me, I'm looking forward to how Exort is going to pull off the big W for RSGPH and be that presence that team needs him to be. And then for Echo, if they placed higher in the same tournament that TNC and Omega were in, I would have put them in hot, without a doubt. I liked what players like RK3 and Invoker showed. The potential is there for Echo, but I feel like they might be one of those teams that will have a slow start and then break out. It might be a slow start for Benny QT and Hades and the gang, but I see this as a team that come mid-season, suddenly that's when they're gonna hit their power spike. It will take time, but as of now, they're the ones that are cold for me. So I want to ask, for TDZ, why was TNC in your cold list?
Ayan. Well, for TNC, though marami silang nag-champion sila sa out-of-season tournament, yes. Marami silang performance na, or mas maganda rin yung mga performance na pwede nilang ipakita this season. Ang tingin ko lang din kasi is, I guess, isa dun yung part na there's a big possibility na mas ma-overcome sila ng mga ibang teams. I'm not saying that in a, well, again, hindi ko na nakikita yung mga preparations ng mga teams lahat-lahat. Pero meron na silang idea eh. Meron ng idea yung ibang teams na kung paano maglaro tong TNC. So, it might affect their play sa MPL. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. This is just my own opinion. So, yun yung mga bagay na nakikita ko at some point. At a itong current papasok ng MPL season.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think all of us put Blacklist International in the top of our heat check for hot. So, based off of what we've been seeing from the other teams in the region, right now it doesn't feel like Blacklist is the meta setter yet. Maybe they'll have something to show us in the regular seasons. Will they set the meta again? That's the biggest question. Do you think, Naisu, that if Blacklist isn't the team to set the meta again, will they be able to make it into the finals to defend? Or do they need to set the meta to be the team to beat?
I don't think, for me personally, I don't think Blacklist has to be the one to set the meta. Not to say that they won't. I mean, people are obviously going to be looking at them to see, what they play. But to be honest, because of just the scheduling and the way things have gone, I'm sure the Philippines teams have had their eyes on the other regions. What they're doing, how the meta is developing in other places, and then we'll see this weekend like how they approach that. But I don't think necessarily that Blacklist has to define the meta to find themselves in another place where they're in the playoffs, a good spot in the playoffs and everything. I think it just comes down to Blacklist. Their whole group of players just play really well together. There's synergy there. There's experience there. They have a great leader, and they have all the ingredients that they need to be there again if they choose to. And
True.
I guess the meta will just develop the way that they want to, and then it'll be up to everybody else if they follow, or maybe they have their own things under their sleeves. So we'll just have to see what they decide to do.
Well said. And there you have it. Our heat check for the preseason going into MPL Philippines Season 8. Of course, as we go after the end of our first weekend of MPL action, this is going to look different. We can finally have a better idea of how the teams, of how ready they are for Season 8. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the teams have in store. I know they've been cooking up a lot of things for not only their fans, but for everyone around the world watching. We are on the road to the M3 World Championships. This MPL Philippines Season 8 is super important in terms of being able to get your slot for the World Championship. The whole world of MLBB esports is on the road to M3. And that is what our teams have their eyes set on. It's not just the championship. Huwag nyo kalimutan, tinitignan din nila ang buong mundo. The potential to be called the world champions. That is why Season 8, the biggest, the newest version of the league, going into a franchise season, going into the third world championship, hands down, might be the most important just yet. Thank you for tuning in, but we're not done. We're gonna bring back Leo, because, I miss Leo. Yeah. And then I know Leo also wants us to...
He's still there, man. He's still frozen in time.
Did you hold that for like 20 minutes? I think you're muted.
You're still, your
there
voice
you go.
is frozen.
All right, perfect. There you go. Yeah. So I was practicing it. Yes, obviously. I wasn't doing anything else. I was holding the pose. Thank you. Buti na lang binato nyo na sa akin. Welcome back. Woo!
Yeah.
I enjoyed the heat check. I enjoyed the...
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Like, hopefully, in the next episode of Day Zero or maybe Recall, we could get like your power ranking opinions.
That's the thing. That's the thing is, there's a reason why I didn't join this check. Is because throughout the past weeks, lahat ng possible ginagawa ko ng tier list. So basically, lahat na ng players, lahat na ng teams na judge ko na, at least. Nabigyan ko na ng opinion. So, I think there's a reason why a lot of people keep saying, but kapag naglagay ng BTR, ang daming nasa question mark, at tapos ang dami ring S&A. That's the reason why all the teams are so game. All the teams are so prepared this season. So I think all of the teams would be on the hot side for me. And then, like, that's how it would look anyways.
All right. Yeah, the tier list that you've been making on the Leo Gaming page here on Facebook, but I think you also have some other social media pages as well where we can follow you for your content, Leo.
Yes. So, guys, go ahead and search me up at LeoCastsPH everywhere. That's including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and my website. So www.leocastsph.com. Yan. So check it out. Of course, churning out content specifically for MPL Season 8 every day. Yun lang. Thank you.
There you go. Naisu for your social media stuff. We'll have that later. We'll go with TDZ first for his social media accounts. Where can we follow you?
Yes, thanks for do follow me at Facebook at TDZcast. Tads Padua naman sa Instagram, TDZcast, both Twitter and YouTube, and Tads Padua rin sa TikTok. Maglalabas tayo ng mga contents pag following the MPL Season 8. So, thanks so much for follow. And yun lang. Thank you. Kita-kits sa Season 8.
All right. Thanks, TDZ. Naisu, where can we see on what are your socials, man?
All right, guys, you can find me everywhere. I know it's a bunch of different things, but if you just go to any of the platforms and type Naisu, Naisu, you will find me. Active pretty much everywhere, and I also stream as well. But I've been streaming lately on Twitch. If you just type Naisu as well, you'll find me there. And Kita Keats, is that right? Kita Keats.
Kita Keats.
You guys
I love it.
Kita Keats. You guys can find me this weekend casting for the opening week with MPL with these guys, hopefully. So, yeah, catch me there.
Ooh, Naisu finally gonna be casting for the MPL for the first time. And for my social media accounts, legit na to, direct. It's at esports Reptar everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Sobrang uniform. Sa YouTube, it's Renmar the Reptar. Just look for the account with my face on it and with like 200 subscribers. Hopefully you guys can subscribe as well. A lot of content coming out. I had them planned out for a while, but with the season starting, finally I can execute. So it's gonna be hot there. Don't forget as well to follow the official Covenry YouTube page. Actually, na-comment na nga ng admin natin dyan sa comment section. So please, if you want to watch the replay of this, if you want to get like from the actual source of what was said in every episode of Day Zero and MPL Recall, get that via the Covenry YouTube page. Please subscribe. It'll really help us with growing our channel there. And that is it. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in on behalf of our production team, our amazing graphics artist. What was a title for her again? You had a title for her, Leo. The Sultry Siren.
That's from one Mike Leasing.
From our amazing graphics artist, Naisu Labora, our director, Hacks. Let's call him Hacks because that's how I know him very well as. Minsan Hacks Dogring. And of course, our Haxilog daw. And of course, can we call him our producer? Si Tito JR. All the people behind the scenes working on Day Zero. Thank you so much. On behalf of TDZ, Leo, Naisu, my name is Reptar. This has been episode 1 of season 2 on Day Zero. We will see you for the first weekend of MPL action and for the first episode of MPL Recall next week. It's going to be a great season of MPL. See you guys. Bye.